Good evening and welcome to Prime of My Life. Again, second attempt at this video. Didn't like the way the first one was going because, oh my goodness, it was depressing. And do you know something? I'm done with that. I have decided I am done with that. Inflation has gone up to 10.1%, which is an absolute crock because if you look at the graph, all the things went up this way apart from fuel, which went hugely down, and that's balanced out. Food has gone up 14%. It is time to absolutely get yourself sorted. You need to sort Christmas out now. That's what I'm going to be looking at this weekend. I'm going to be looking at cheap Christmas presents, easy things to make. My haul will be, again, a different haul. It's not going to be a prepping haul. It's going to be a get yourself ready for Christmas. Get yourself ready for winter. I mean, we're already seeing it getting a bit chillier here just now. Depends on the weather. Last night at this temperature I had the flames on. Tonight it's not nearly as windy, so it's not as cold. So we're all good just with a cardigan on. But we really need to have a look at seeing what we're doing, because according to the economic think tank people, inflation should go up to about 11%. Now, if inflation can sit at 10.1% and food prices have increased on average 14%, then how much are they going to have increased to have an average inflation rate of 11% or over? And we all know that the payment towards our energy bills is going to stop for many of us in April. So we need to get ready, because no matter what happens with this government, which is an absolute circus, just so not what I was going to call it. It's an absolute circus, and do you know, if that was any other job, they'd have been ousted a long time ago and their feet wouldn't have touched the ground. However, seemingly it's very difficult to get rid of a government in the UK, or even an MP, unless they do something particularly bad and actually have a criminal record or something. Yep, I looked just to make sure. So we can't get rid of them that easily. So what we have to do is we have to look after ourselves and we have to look after each other. So that means get yourself a list. Yes, I know, I'm back on lists. Get a list. You're going to need a list. You're going to need to know, what are you going to be looking for in November? Have you got birthdays coming up? Have you got anything particular that you need to do? In that case, get your stuff now before the prices go up any higher. Christmas, get your stuff sorted now before the prices go up any higher. And for New Year, I mean, everybody is always skint at New Year. I mean, we just always are. It's just a thing. We overspend at Christmas and we're skint at New Year. Well, we're skint already. So we need to try and work out a basis of doing this. And if that means that instead of my chocolate biscuits, I'm going to have to make some, then that's what I will do. I have baked my potato ready to make macaroon bars. I am ready for this. I will make my own sweeties. I will make my own biscuits. Possibly not chocolate biscuits, but I will cut down on my chocolate biscuits, because whatever I can afford just now, which is still, I still have a bit of disposable income, it's not going to last. It really isn't. And I've noticed the prices, especially when I went and did that Tesco haul. Oh my goodness, because I got so much processed stuff that I wouldn't normally get just now. Normally I get much more, you know, like raw meat, vegetables, fruit, etc. Buying more processed stuff really put the price of my shopping up. So we need to look at that. We need to try and give ourselves a safety net, because we're not going to get it from the government. And I'm totally and utterly sick to the back teeth of all this. Oh, the government's in crisis. How long will Liz Truss last? You know, how long until Labour's a government and waiting? I don't care. People are struggling just now. While all this malarkey is going on, there's people who can't heat their houses now. Today. Yesterday. Who's looking after them? Who's even considering them in the government? Nobody. All we're getting is, oh, there's going to be more cuts. For what? Cuts for all the basics. And still tonight on the news they're saying, oh yes, but we can't put wages up because that'll do inflation. No. Enough of that. If the spending power is what puts up inflation, Take the spending power from those at the top instead of having people on lifestyles that are worse than they were in the 70s. This is ridiculous. We should not have our pensioners wrapped up in blankets, scared to put on the heating. That used to be the clarion cry of whatever party was trying to get in government. Or at least we didn't have our pensioners wrapped up in blankets, or we are not going to have our pensioners wrapped up in blankets. Trust me, they're already there. I mean, in some ways, I'm glad that my parents are no longer in their house, because it was a pretty big house and it had gas central heating. And it had 3 foot thick stone walls, so you can imagine what that took to heat. I'm quite glad we do not have to do that anymore. But how many pensioners, how many people on benefits, how many people on hand-to-mouth existence, on minimum wage, doing these stupid 0-hour contract jobs are living hand-to-mouth? And who is looking out for them? Nobody, because the government are all too busy watching their own backs so they don't get stabbed and trying desperately to hold on to their really, really jammy job. It's just wrong on so many levels. So there you go. So yes, my decision tonight is I am not going to be beaten. I am going to stash stuff. See, look, I'm getting all red in the face now. I can feel it. I am going to stash stuff. I am going to prepare stuff. I am going to have all my blankies ready. I know, blankies again. I don't care. You need blankies in the winter in Scotland. It has to be done. Patrick is going to be cutting up the wood. Thank you, Patrick, for the wood yesterday. I am going to be burning it. Do you know, I am going to fight this tooth and nail. You are not going to beat me. And if that means me and my hot water bottle need to be sitting wrapped up in blankies, then we will. And I will still go out and I will still make my money at my job. I will be there Monday to Friday, 9 till 5, as long as that company keeps going, which at the moment looks like forever. I'm not being beaten. I'm just not. And whatever I can do to help, I will be doing to help. Again, because of the monetisation of the channel, we will be donating again this month. And I know exactly who we're donating to, and I think you'll like it. So keep an eye out for that near the end of the month. But we have to. So if you can help someone, please do. And I don't mean someone from these WaterAid with their multi-million-pound CEOs. See that little charity down the road that gets barely any help, that are out in the streets on a Friday night feeding people, or the food banks, and not necessarily the Trussell Trust who have to have you referred by a certain thing. Go look for your community fridges. The ones that don't care who you are. If you want to come and get food, then they will feed everybody. Do what you can. We have to come together as a community, because dear God, the government are not going to help us. But dear God, we're not going to be beaten, because I am not done yet. And on that note, I'm going to go and pour myself a celebratory drink, and I'm going to make a list, because it's just not happening. So, yes!